all these videos concerning the terrorists, then the government need to do something. The police also need to do something about security, because security need to be at its peak even in Abuja, and even not just in Abuja, and everywhere in the state, because everywhere is prone now to insecurity. So security need to be at its peak. Then as people disregard, something need to be done on issue of insecurity, because as people are disregarding this, then their life should not be at risk any longer. So security need to be deployed, and as they are deployed, they need to look out for all these places. And even that place that was saying is a den of kidnappers, they need to do some investigation in that place. So we should not just disregard that video, whereas that place is a den to kidnappers. So they should need to do some investigations in such places and look out for all these nooks and crannies, even in the communities in Abuja, for insecurity to be tackled once and for all in such places. That's all on the Inquirer newspaper.
Thank you, Tosin. And look at the Leadership newspaper. Umana demands interagency solution to oil theft, with detail on page 8 of the Leadership newspaper. Jaiz Bank half-year profit raised by 27.6%. Other stories still on the Leadership. Nigeria's fiscal pressure is imploding. This is coming from NESG. Article Wike's reconciliation will not fail. This is coming from Ghana, with detail on page 4. And we have, as Commonwealth Games end, Nigeria's athletes bring incredible joy to nation in distress. Team Nigeria breaks wins exclusive women 4x100 relay goal. Musa makes history, wins 100-meter hurdles title, says it's mentally challenging, nerve-wracking. I'm really excited looking at the women, because they actually did us great. I mean, Nigeria has about 35 goals coming from the Commonwealth Games, so you will know that actually the sport ministry is really doing well. And just like we've raised that awareness that the sport ministry really needs to be looked into, the athletes need to be encouraged. All the bonuses and the allowances that they are supposed to be given should be given to them, because we can see that they're doing us great. At the moment where we seem as if we are losing all hope, Tosi, with the issue of Naira coin, falling, the issue of insecurity and all that, you could really tell that the sport is actually putting a smile on our face. And so we're really excited, and we wish them all the best. We can see the picture here. We have Omusa in the first, we have Ofile second, we have Chuma as the third, and we have Chukucha as the fourth. And we're really excited about that. And we have the reaction coming from Nigerians. They said, we are proud of these achievements, and the memories will linger with the nation forever. And for me, this is a special moment and a fitting parting gift, being my last Commonwealth game as the head of the state. This is coming from President Muhammadu Buhari. And we have another one coming from Sunday Dari. He says, stand up for the champions. Thank you for doing Nigerian proud, and congratulations to all Nigerian athletes at the Commonwealth Games. And you can read more of this reaction coming from Nigerians on page 4. And that's all on the Leadership newspaper.
And I'd like to take the TBS in an international paper. We have now 99% goods of Bangladesh under China's duty-free offer. Fuel price hike leads to a transportation mayhem, and denim industry banks on new tech for further leap. Production loss feared as zone-wise industrial weekly closure mulled. EU likely to be inflexible to all GSP plus standards, German ambassadors. And the last story on Bangladesh develops low-priced COVID test kits, and this is a report that can be found on page 5 of the TBS newspaper. That's all on that.
On the Vanguard newspaper, we have a presidential interview for the APC presidential candidate, how my training experience knowledge can rescue Nigeria. This is coming from Bola Tinubu. You can read more of his interview on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper. We are not interested in calls to impeach Buhari now. This is coming from the PDP reps, with detail also on page 4. And we have Sani Sulamido. He has thrown a bombshell, and he said 2023, why Nigerians will speak up now. And you need to know why that. You have to check page 22 of the Vanguard newspaper. The big story here, act fast to save economy, NECA NESG taxed the federal government. Says energy crisis, forex scarcity, falling currency, insecurity, bleeding economy urge the federal government to resolve challenges with holistic approach. And then we have reforms needed to save economy. This is coming from the NESG. Asks government to fast track re-regulation, tackle forex scarcity. And you can see more of that on page 5. Strike, we will beg ASU if parents tell the federal government. We can no longer enter into unimplementable agreement. This is coming from the federal government. Middle Belt youth to governors emulate autumn, set up local security outfit. We detail also on page 4. And Petami emerges first African fellow of the C2nd SEC. We detailed on page 8. Tighten monetary policy threaten federal government 720 billion naira borrowing plan as investors quest for higher yield constrained July auction, and then the federal government may resort to ways and means. This is an analyst, and you can take a look at the interest rate on the FGN bond and the MPR percentage here for 3 years, 19 years, 29 years, and also you can read more of that. Downside of the paper, we have electricity generation raised 7.6% to 4,089 megawatts as inadequate facility hindered distribution. We detail also on page 8. And on insecurity, investors avoid Niger State Governor cries out. We detail on page 40. And the efforts killed 9 terrorists, including mastermind of Buhari's convoy attack in Katsina. As troop killed Boko Haram commander and 27 others in Borno. This is really a good one. We need to commend them for that. The last story I'll be taking, gunmen killed 2 vigilantes, abduct new couple, several others in Katsina. We detail also found on page 6. And that's all on the Vanguard newspaper.
And I'd like us to take a move to the Sporting Sun, where we have Ten Hag's Man U rain get off to worst start. Man City begins title defense with Haaland brace, and on Bullet Amusan, that is the captivating headlines saying Nigerian track queen smashes another record. Eguavon hails record-breaking athletes, and athletes officials praise sports minister for boosting morale of Nigerian contingent. Issy Bruner retains long jump gold medal. On the Premier League return, Ndidi nets 84 touches, 88% pass accuracy, plays 90 minutes in Leicester draw against Brentford, and Iheanacho gets bench role. Haaland shines for Man City on Premier League's debut, and Dessers bid Genk goodbye. Lampard louts Iwobi's performance, and we have fans mock Man U players after defeat to Brighton. The last story says Ten Hag's Man U reign gets off to worst start, and that's all on the Sporting Sun newspaper.
Thank you, Tosin. Let's take a look at the Daily Trust newspaper. The Nigerian Air Force fighter jet kills banditry Kimpi and followers in Katsina. Presidency lament killing of villas animals. You can read more of that on Daily Trust newspaper. Revive manufacturing sector to boost the local economy. Expert advise the federal government. The big story here, call data cost to double as federal government invokes new telecom tax. Telcos others kick, says policy unfair and ill-timed. Why communication minister opposed the proposed exercise. We are consulting on implementation. This is coming from the finance ministry. And kidnappers kill undergraduate after collecting ransom, with detail on page 27. Serap CGID sues Buhari, wants fine on Trust TV and others overturned. The last story here, Buhari's nephew dumps APC. We also have a picture story here on the Daily Trust newspaper, so you can do well to get the Daily Trust and read any of the stories that is of interest to you.
Thank you, Sally. On the Daily Sun, crack in IPOB as group disowns purported Biafra in exile government. Details can be found in page 26. And West African Student Union honors Ugwanyi. Buhari's minister under fire over insecurity and ASU strike. Afenifere Ohaneze, MBF order says federal government can't borrow to fund ASU positions. It is senseless. And Lagos Red Line Rail ready first quarter next year, assures Sanwo-Olu. And we can see the picture story here where Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State with his deputy Obafemi Hamzat, the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority boss Mrs. Abimbola Akinajo, and the Director of Rail Transport Mr. Olasukomi Okusaga, and others during the inspection of the Red Line Rail corridor in Lagos. On Russian-Ukraine crisis, European Union dumps Nigeria in gas supply deal. Nigerians dying of hunger, Okowa laments. Details can be found in page 27. Nigeria others face energy transition setback over limited international funding. Military airstrikes kill chief terrorist Abdul Karim Boss, 27 others in Katsina, as police kill 8 others, rescue 6 kidnapped victims. 50 billion naira Nemasa floating dock rots away at naval dockyard, as Nigeria loses 21.5 billion naira annually to neighboring dock facilities. Pantami emerges first African Fellow of Chartered Institute of Security. Details can be found in page 27. And that's all on the Daily Sun.
Thank you so much, Tosin. We would like to go on the break, but before then, I would like to take some comment that dropped on our Facebook page. The first one is coming from Elijah David. He said, good morning. Good morning to you, Elijah. We have another one coming from McCarthy. He said, children of God, Nigeria, we only depend on God. Oh. Thank you so much, McCarthy. And the last comment I have for now is coming from Emmanuel. He said, morning. How? Well, I do not know, Emmanuel, but it's morning if you're in Nigeria. Well, right at this moment, we'll take this time out, and when we're back, we'll open our phone lines, and you can call and let us hear what your views are. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Studio Number 1 News and Current Affairs program, the Dailies on Echo Television International, and we have been looking at the stories that are trending on our papers. I am Sarah Elisha Dasham, and my co-hosts have been Owolabi Tosin. Thank you, Sarah. Yes, right at this moment, our phone numbers are displayed on your screen, so you can do well to call us and let us hear what your views are concerning the stories, looking at the fact that the European Union have dumped Nigeria, and also other stories that are trending, issues concerning the impeachment of President Muhammadu Buhari, and many other stories that are trending. So you can call us on the number displayed on your screen and let us hear what your views are concerning any of the stories. Well, right at this moment, I would like to run through the Al Jazeera newspaper. Fallout of primary, Atiku Wike to close ranks, with the 14-man reconciliation committee on the way, with detail on page 25 of the Al Jazeera newspaper. Nigeria shines at Commonwealth Games, wins 8 gold medals and others. With detail, also you can read continuation of that story on the front page and also page 16. Buhari condemns killing of non-indigenous police personnel in the southeast. Detail found on page 2. And IPOB denies setting up government in exile. You can read more of that too on page 10. And on politics, there won't be APC by 2023, says Dalong. Well, you can read more of that too on page 30. And Bauchi denies cholera outbreak, we detailed on page 11. Well, regardless of what it is, it's still raining. So I think this is an illness or an outbreak that every state has to look into it, regardless of if there's an outbreak in your state or not. There have to be measures put in place to avoid that. Still on Al Jazeera newspaper, Nigerian threatens withdrawal from ECOWAS. You can read detail of that on page 13. And Northern elders threaten to reject 2023 presidential candidates. You can read more of that also on page 22. And NUPRC plans audit of all marginary field license list. You can actually check of that on page 26. The last story, NDLEA naps pastor with 3 drums of Miri. You can actually read more of that on page 10. And that's all on the Al Jazeera newspaper.
On the Nation newspaper, we have the Center for Disease Control having this study saying Nigeria recorded 24 cases of monkeypox in 1 week. Amuson Brume breaks Commonwealth record, and Jaiz Bank raked 2.54 billion naira profit in 6 months. Umana demands end to oil theft in Niger Delta. Details can be found in page 2 of the Nation newspaper. While on subsidy, FAAC demand petrol consumption record from NNPC. Pantami becomes first African Fellow of Chartered Institute of Information Security. And we have NDLEA arrest 90-year-old suspected bandit drug supplier at Lagos Airport. Wike's camp slams Atiku over divide and rule in PDP as governors tighten hold on Rivers chapter. We are resolving rift, says Jibril, and how generals influenced Okowa's choice. Umahi is saying power should shift to the south. Air Force kills terrorist leader, 27 insurgents neutralized. And downside, Oyo won't return schools to owners, says the government. And gun runners arrested. Details can be found in of the Nation newspaper. We have few picture stories on front page of the Nation. Do well to look out for stories that interest you.
Thank you so much, Tosin. And on the Nigerian Tribune, we have a front page comment that is talking about the federal government card gift to Niger Republic. And you have been following, this has been the story trending on our papers from last week. So you can read the front page comment, and also you can continue to read that on page 9. Peitami emerges first African Fellow of Chartered Institute of Information Security, we detailed on page 11. The big story here, fears over PDP split into North-South cartels, we detailed on page 2 and 23. The write-off lender story say members not sure NEC and the National Working Committee can resolve differences. More details emerge on Atiku, Wike's peace talks. Ayu must go, says George Olu Alabi. And we have Ayu gives fresh condition to resign as PDP chairman. Reconciliation will be fully achieved. This is coming from Shagari. Other stories here, military airstrike killed bandit, warlord and 27 others in Castina. We detailed on page 27. Other stories here, Oyetola hires 11 SAN, 25 other lawyers to tackle Adeleke and PDP. We detail on page 24. Security agent launched manhunt for killers of LUTEC students and 2 others. Indigenes to stage peaceful protest today. You can read more of that on page 27. And exporters lament as cargoes spend 5 months at Apapa port before shipment. We detail also on page 7. And on the train project, Lagos to begin passengers carriage by January 2023. We have 2 picture stories here, so you can do well to get Nigerian Tribune and read detail of any of the stories that is of interest to you.
On the Matrix newspaper, Ese Brume leaps to gold in long jump, sets new record at Commonwealth Games. Buhari's nephew dumps APC after failing to win party's primary. And Amusan sets another record, wins gold at Commonwealth Games. The big story is Titled Bombshell, Falana predicts another recession soon, says federal government ignoring governor's advice on economy. Retreat calls for Emefiele's sack. And on 2023, Lagos PDP candidate leaders in closed-door meeting at Sheraton. While on train project, Lagos to begin passengers carriage by January 2023. This is coming from Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. For Osun State, police arrest wanted killer Rashid Okoilu in Osogbo, and that is really good on how the police are on the trail for all these wanted kidnappers and even wanted bandits. So we really need to applaud what they are doing. We saw what they did in Katsina, where they killed Abdul Rashid and even his accomplice, and now we see what is happening in Osun State, where they had to go after Rashid in Osogbo, and he was gotten. So we just say that they need to do more, and we applaud what they are doing. They need to put in more effort even in looking out for ways they can get all those people that on the long run.
Okay, we have a caller. Hello, Samuel. Good morning.
Am I speaking to TV?
Yes, you are. Please go on. We can hear you live.
Yeah. Yeah, God bless you, Sister Teru, and your crew here. God bless you. You are doing a very good work.
Thank you. Go on, please.
So, I want to make a comment on this Tribune, the Tribune newspaper that speaks on the candidate to Nigeria Republic. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go on. Oh, I wish you call us back before the end of the show, because we really love to hear what you have to say concerning the car gift. So say,
that's all on the matrix.
Okay, let's move on now to this day newspaper. U.S. Badbodu's brother near deal on KB's governor's money laundering case. You can read more of that on page 5 of this day newspaper. And Lagos Red Rail Line now. Okay, hello, we have another caller from Bauchi.
Thank you. I will link me up. Oh.
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go on.
Studio there. I greet you all.
Morning.
The issue of this insecurity problem. Yes, and it is just true that they should emulate the governor of Benue State. You understand? And he did the right thing. He went to United States, to the court of criminal court. You understand? To report Buhari there about this insecurity. I know some things you are afraid of explaining or maybe telling people not to come and bill or sanction your station. Tell the truth the way it is. You know, sincerely, it is too bad. So keep the good work and always be firm and strong, not to fear anything that will come up against you.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much.
And also your contribution on the issue of insecurity. We always give the story just the way it is, and we're always very fair in our analysis. We're still in this day newspaper. We have Group Milayi descend on Keyamo Tinubu over comment on Atiku, says minister is intellectually stagnant. Where you can read more of that on the this day newspaper. The big story here said in the last 12 years. Okay, hello Joseph from Benue. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello Joseph, please go on. We can hear you.
Hello.
Joseph, where you gone?
Yes, this is Joseph from Benue speaking.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's continue. Yes.
I want to talk about ASU from one of your papers. They talk about ASU, federal government begging the parents to go and talk and beg ASU. If government said they don't have the capacity of leading this country, they should better quit.
Okay, Joseph, is that all?
Because number one, they carry money, the tax money of Nigerians and give to Niger Republic. Which is Nigerians that are going to pay. And in fact, that will be difficult for us now, because what they are doing, they are clearly telling us that Nigerians are not good enough. So the tax money of Nigeria is only good for other countries, such like Niger, and ASU are on the strike. And they can only come out to tell us that it is the parents to go and beg ASU. So what kind of a government are they?
Thank you, Joseph, for that, very beautiful contribution. It's really sad. When I actually saw that too, I remember there was a day, I don't know if it was on the show or behind, that I was actually saying the fact that maybe we need to introduce PTA meetings in schools. Possibly that would make, the federal government also ask to actually sit up, and then things will actually improve in schools. But we'll just keep our fingers crossed to see the end of the story, whatever the issue is, whether the PTA are going to come into it, what ASU have to do, and the fact that they say they do not want private people to actually interfere in that. So regardless of what it is valid that we look into making sure that students are back to the classroom above every other thing. The big story of this day newspaper: in the last 12 years, Nigeria's electricity grid suffered over 222 partial and total collapse. The rider following that story: ministry advocate purchase of cicada system. Okay, we have another caller from Ebonyi State. Good morning. Hello, are you there? Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir. Please go on with your contribution.
All right, I want to talk about the data and the cost rate to be doubled, according to one of the newspapers this morning. I want to actually say that this is so malicious of this very government. I haven't seen that the issue of insecurity that is being made known to the world in general is through the internet and other social media platforms. So the government somehow wants to stifle that effort by the masses to make known the issue of insecurity, which they don't want to be known in the world at large. And also, I want to say that it is politically motivated, because they have seen that the publicity and the campaign that is coming on very soon, a lot of social media will be filled up with the youth trying to make known their intentions and to support their desired candidate. So if the government goes on to double the data and the cost rate, is malicious and is intended to draw the country backwards more and more. So I want to say that this is air time, just like
powerful contribution on this. Expert blame ACEC absolute grid collapse, and report says the sub-Saharan Africa lose up to $28 billion in GDP to power collapse. You can read more of that on the front page and also page 5 of this day newspaper. We also have a picture story. Oh, sorry to say. Hello, Shedra. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, Shedra. Go on, please.
Shedra from Sokoto.
Okay, thank you for calling.
Yeah, seriously, we did. Yeah, seriously, we the students of Nigeria are in pain, sitting back at home for a very long time, and nothing is being done about it. And now, can you imagine, we are trying to make a difference in the government, and all of this, something about the data is going to frustrate our efforts. Because a lot of things are going right now in the social media, trying to connect people together through the data, through the internet, you understand? So now I think this thing is all
Stop listening to yourself. Like, turn down the volume of your TV.
I think Shadrach have hung up. Well, if it's our callers, please, if you call us, turn down the volume of your TV set so you can actually have a very good and flowing communication. And that's all on this day newspaper to say.
On Nigerian News Direct, Abiodun Amoshun in war of supremacy. And JAMB reveals why it won't stop conducting exams amid ASU strike. NITDA opens training portal for developers. And we have oil revenue shortfall. Experts fault governors. 20% VAT proposal. And Adi Bogo says proposal recipe for social upheaval. For experts, they are saying collecting more taxes on masses, draconic and insensitive. For Ede killing, bereaved family cries for justice, says culprit must face the wrath of the law. And the DMO high debt hurting investment in infrastructure. And we see the bereaved families in the Ede killing, and also we see the infrastructure development even in Lagos State. So that's all on the Nigerian News Direct.
And on the Punch newspaper, I'd like to start with the big story, no going back on Buhari's impeachment. This is coming from the aggrieved lawmakers. They said impeachment threat, not withdrawal. Insecurity still persists. This is coming from the deputy minority whip. We will remove Lawan if he blocks president's removal. This is coming from Osun senator insisting. And APC senators tired of defending Buhari on insecurity. This is coming from Benue Senator Jeff. I'd like to read a little about that. Here we have the opposition lawmakers in the National Assembly have said there is no going back on their resolve to impeach the president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, if he fails to address the insecurity in the country within 6 weeks. The lawmakers, in a separate interview with the Punch on Sunday, dismissed a report that they had backed down on the plan to remove the president after the expiration of the 6-week ultimatum handed down on July 27. The Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, had come under assault by terrorists who launched separate attack on troops and the Guje Medium Security Custodian Center. The militant attacked the Presidential Guard Brigade troop at Buhari Road, Abuja, killing the captain, lieutenant, and 6 soldiers, while others sustained injuries. They also attacked a checkpoint at Zuma Rock, a few kilometers from the nation's capital. An attack by the Islamic State West Africa Province terrorists on the Kuje Medium Security Custodial Center, Abuja, resulted in the release of 69 Boko Haram commanders and hundreds of fellows on July 5th. This happened 24 hours after suspected terrorists attacked the president's advance team in Katsina. Following this development and the impeachment threat against the president by the opposition lawmakers, the National Assembly leadership expressed fear over the worsening insecurity in the country. Well, we just keep our fingers crossed. Just like we said, we don't need to wait for this to get to the doorstep. So we wait to see what the Red Chamber have to say about the impeachment of the president. Other stories on the Punch newspaper: debt servicing to hit 10 trillion naira economic slam the federal government, with detail on page 27. Nigeria needs 21 trillion naira to breach housing deficit. This is coming from the BOI. PTA demands federal government ASU parents confirm. This is concerning the ASU strike. Detailed on page 18. Federal government to implement telecoms breakage tax in 2023. And UK Museum to return 72 looted Benin bronzes, with detailed on page 14. Other stories here we have: soldiers and Moteku come forest for looted students killer. It's pathetic. Inyobong labored in vain. Mother job seeker sister. Okay, we have another caller. Hello, good morning. Hello. King, that caller is not there because I could barely hear him tossing. Well, I think I have to go with my paper if the caller can actually call us back again. The last story on the Punch newspaper, drivers kill woman, backstander hoodlum steal disease phone. We detailed on page 4 and 5. And that's all on the Punch newspaper.
On the New Telegraph, federal government projects 6.3 trillion naira for debt servicing in 2023. Total obligation 6 trillion naira. Nigeria's sugar import hits 385 billion naira despite forex restriction. Dark clouds over 2023 polls, and insecurity turning Nigeria to a failed state. This is coming from lawyers, and full details of the story can be found in page 9, 10 and 14 of the New Telegraph. Nigeria leads space race in Africa for revenue challenges. NESG tax the federal government. Of 2023, PDP will correct Southeast marginalization and others. This is coming from Governor Okowa. Brumer's Gold confirms Nigeria's best ever record as Buhari celebrates her. Ex-OAU VC to the federal government is saying declare state of emergency on varsity education to end strikes, advocate tuition fee payment, scholarship support for indigent student, says months of negotiations smacks of insecurity, proposes expanded assembly of critical stakeholders to deliberate and take major decision on education. London Museum to return 72 Benin artifacts with details in page 8, and Nigeria can't be consumed. Anglican primate is saying this, and he says God is up to something this season. This is coming from Adeboye. On insecurity, Buhari approves motivational incentives for officers and soldiers. Payment of disembarked allowances to begin before the year end. Rejigging of operational strategies underway, and details can be found in page 8. The last story is a study which says calcium supplement tied to mortality risks, and that's all on the New Telegraph.
Let's take the national economy as our business world. Forex scarcity dampens foreign portfolio investment inflows. We detailed on page 5 of the National Economy newspaper. Revive industry to save economy from collapse, expert tells the federal government. Says unemployment, naira depreciation, others outcome of neglect of productive sector. We detailed also found on page 4 of the National Economy. Federal government seeks U.S. support on modular refinery tech deployment. We detailed also on page 5. NIWA begins insurance of cargoes bags over incense boat misshape. Jaiz Bank half-year net profit grows by 28% in the second quarter. You can read detail of that on page 2. We also have a picture story here, so you can do well to get the national economy and read any of these business stories that is of interest to you.
On a business day, Nigeria moving towards high debt distress risks. This is coming from Riwani. And also the big story says oil theft spooks operators deepen underinvestment. Buhari's resilient food supply chain claims conflict with reality, and Zenon Petroleum wants court to wind up at over $6 billion debt. Inside LASMA, where trails is formalities and guilt certain, and that's all on the Business Day newspaper.
Thank you so much, Joseph, for doing this with me.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, our viewers. Thank you to the crew members and everyone that made sure that this program was a success. Until we come your way again tomorrow, stay tuned for the lineup of all the programs we have for you this morning.